Hope you're well out there. Today I am going to be doing some glass weaving, which you've seen in the previous video, which is this sort of thing. And but I'm going to put a pattern on it, and it's going to be a checkerboard pattern. And the reason I'm going to do that is because I'm very curious about whether, first of all, whether I can do it, basically. My name is Jeff, welcome to the channel. What's the motivation behind this? Curiosity more than anything else. Can do the glass weaving that way very easy, but I want to do a couple of videos and just try different techniques, and this is one of them that I wondered about for a little while. So that's the reason why I want to do this. And I'm not trying to make a chessboard, by the way. It is just purely to put a checkerboard pattern on. So that's my motivation for it. By the way, I went to Japan, as I mentioned, I think in my last video, and had a little trip over there. I went over for my son's wedding. It was all very nice. We did a lot and walked a lot. I think I walked 15, both Anne and I walked 15 kilometres on average a day. But we did go and see a lot of things, and I will show you some photos of that as I go forward through these videos. So I am back. I went away to get a little bit of motivation going. I was getting a little bit burnt out, I suppose is the way you put it. So I was getting burnt out before. Need to get a bit more motivation, get inspired. Honestly, I was so busy over there that I never thought about it a lot, but I did see some interesting craft over there that I've thought about, and I thought, wonder whether I can do that in glass. So going down the track, I might try a few of those. Anyway, as I said, I'm going to do this glass weaving. I'm going to try and put a checkerboard pattern on it. And before I go too far, remember, all the glass I use is bullseye 90 glass. So if you're using 96 or anything like that, just make sure you make adjustments for that. Stay safe, as I always say. Be careful cutting. You don't want glass in your eyes or anything like that, and wear a mask whenever you should be wearing a mask. So the colours I'm using are tomato red, which is 2430, and teal green, which was 0144. I'm not using black and white. One of the reasons is I'm a bit scared to use black and white, because black and white are at opposite ends of how reactive they are. Black reacts to heat very quickly, white doesn't. So fusing them together and slumping them into these little S shapes may be problematic. So I might work up to black and white. These colours I think will react very similarly. So first thing I had to do, that I have already done, is cut strips of glass 35 mils wide. And I'm going to try and show you why I've got to make them 35 wide. So I'll just come around here and show this little sketch I made. Get it into the camera there for you. Because of the way weaving works, I've determined that I need to run 3 strips one way and 2 strips to get it anything close to a square the other way. But each area is about 35 by 35. So what I'm doing over there is I'm fusing these strips together and then going to cut the final 10 mil strips out of that. So those the cut strips, I know I'm rambling here, but the cut strips of colour are 35 mils wide. That's going, as I said, it's going to give me about a 210 by 210 piece, and it's only 6 squares by 6 squares. So that's the idea. As I'm working through it and I'm assembling it, I'll probably go over a bit more. So I've already cut these strips. So the next thing I've got to do with these strips is assemble them, put them together, put them in the kiln and fuse them together. Then I'll come back and we'll cut the final strips out of that. Sorry for the muck around. Actually, I realised I do have to cut more strips, so I might as well show you how I cut those. Before I do that, I said 2430 for that. It's not. The code is really just 0024. There's a senior moment for you. So I've already set up here guides for 35 mils, so I know that when I try and cut this, or when I do cut this, that is going to be 35 mils wide. So really simple on this one. I've got this lubricated over here. Just run my strips. Hopefully that is scored properly. Sometimes with bullseye glass, because it's got quite a textured surface to it, the score doesn't run nice and smoothly, and we end up getting a break in the piece. I did notice in some 96 that I used that it's always a lot smoother, so that's an interesting difference between the glass. Right, and if you're wondering why I'm having to do this, I do need to fuse up 2 sheets because I need strips that run both vertically and horizontally as well. If you're wondering why the videos are looking a bit different, because I'm trying to simplify things. I'm just going to set the camera up in one spot, try and do everything, or a couple of spots at the most. Try and do everything straight in front of you. That will minimise the editing I have to do. I'll also use some stock video, in other words video of me putting things in the kiln and sandblasting and that, which don't really change between projects. So it just makes the whole thing simpler for me when I'm putting the video together. So that's got all of those cut, which are for one sheet. And I've got these other ones over here for the other sheet. So I just need to put them all together on 2 shelves, get them in the kilns. And I've got 2 kilns, and fuse them all together. So I've just got this set up here now, ready to go in the kiln. Just something I need to say is that I've ground the edges as best I can to make sure that they butt up together really well, because I don't want to have any holes appear along there. So I want this whole thing to fuse together nicely. The dams are there basically to stop it rounding off on these edges and to keep it all together, so that when I cut my strips I can get nice strips out of that. Also tried to make all the smooth sides up because that's what I'll be scoring on. So I'll just get that in the kiln. I think that's all I have to say about it, and we'll see how it comes out. Right. Okay. I started this project before Christmas, and it is now after Christmas. And like a lot of things in my life lately, things are just getting in the way. I just can't get enough time to do things. So last where we left off before was the fusing, and that didn't go quite as planned. Basically, I'll show you what happened, and it was a silly mistake on my part. I should have thought about this, unfortunately, but I didn't. So I'll come around and just try and explain. Okay, you can see here, this is the end of a piece that was fused together, and you can see all the openings here. between the pieces of glass, those strips that we had cut and put together. I was very careful about those, making sure that they all meet and that the joins were as tight as I could make them. But unfortunately, what I never considered, this is 3mm glass. And 3mm glass, when you heat it, will obviously try and pull in. So any gap at all there, it's going to pull away from itself. Those two strips are going to try and pull in themselves and open up that gap. And that's what's happened there. Those, where I thought I had them nice and tight, the joins obviously not enough for this process. So that's made me rethink this as to what is a better way of doing this. But it wasn't a dead loss. I did get enough glass out of this to make a piece. It is not quite as big as the one I'd planned for, but it's still going to prove that I can do it. So I do have a lot of little strips of multicoloured glass. Hopefully you can see those. Bring them around. There we go. Multicoloured glass. So they are 10mm strips. Gee, I'm not doing this too good, am I? And the light's not that good. I'll have to fix my camera. But I have enough of these to finish this project off. So it's not a dead loss. So the next thing, I did cut these up, by the way, and I did try just scoring this and snapping it. I did get a couple of breaks. As you can see there, it did break. So I went over onto my ring saw and I finished cutting the strips on the ring saw. It was a little bit more tedious to do that, but I got the strips off, which is great. So the next thing to do is to, I'll just show you, is to slump some of these into our little wiggles. Okay, try and explain. What I originally was going to do was make this piece, which had 6 squares by 6 squares, but unfortunately some of these broke. These ones here broke as I was trying to score and snap them, which is, as I said, why I went over onto the ring saw and finished cutting the strips on that. But I do have enough strips to do it a 4 by 6 piece. And that's going to be enough to show that it can be done and prove to myself that it can be done. So the next thing to do is I've got to take these pieces here and slump them across my formers. These are my formers. They're stainless steel formers, which you'll see in another video. So first thing, take all of these off, take these, lay them up, and we'll slump them. Right, I'll try and explain what I've done here. These are my stainless steel formers that you would have seen in another video that I did to do with glass weaving. They're coated with boron nitride. I haven't recoated them. I think they're fine, nothing will stick. Underneath that down here is a little bit of thin fire paper, and I have lined these up and I have alternated them, so I've got 3 each way, which will correspond to the squares. I've got a couple of extras on the end here as well. The reason I've done that is because I want to line up the formers with the joins, and hopefully, now there's no guarantee, hopefully the slump will work out so that on these ones here, for example, I'll be able to slot through there 2 of these pieces oriented that way, so we'll have that green square, red square, green square, and so on. That's the plan, as I always say. We'll see what happens after it's been in the kiln. Okay, I will try and cover everything here. Just to show you this first. This is how they come out of the kiln. You can see they're flat there, and that's where they sat on the formers and then slumped in between the formers. They're pretty good. I could have probably slumped them a little bit more because I needed, on some of these here, I need just a little bit more space to put that in between the two pieces. Now remember, they come out of the kiln like that, but when in this here, I turned every second one like that, and that forms the channel there for those side pieces to go through. Hopefully I've got that all in camera for you. So that's a little tight sometime with these, but because I've made a few extras here, that's given me the ability to sort of move them around to find the best fit. Now you can start to see the checkerboard pattern there. I just got to line everything up properly in the kiln so that basically all the red is forms a square and the green forms a square and so on. The only other thing is that probably could have had a bit more length on the ends here, because these are just barely sitting on the ends, and hopefully they won't be a problem. This will all slump down. But if had a little bit more length on the ends here, it would have sat better, and I don't think that a little bit of extra length would have made any difference to how it looks. So I'll get it all cleaned, line it all up, get it in the kiln. We'll do like a contour fuse, just flatten it all down, make it stick together without losing too much of the definition, and hopefully it'll be all good and look great, and also prove that we can mix and match, not mix and match colours, but we can create patterns in a woven piece by fusing different coloured pieces into one strip. So I just want to show you what I've done here in the kiln. Basically I use little spaces between all of these strips to spread them out, and then slid all of these side pieces in and lined it up so that I get pretty close to a square of each colour. I use scrap glass, small pieces of scrap glass as my spaces, either 3 or 2 mil. But look, you could use absolutely anything you wanted to space them out, as long as you can get it close to lining up with all the other bits. So that's it. We'll see how it goes. Well, I think it's worked out quite well. I've made a couple of little mistakes, which I'll point out in a moment. But I think the idea of being able to create some sort of patterns with glass weaving is possible. You would have to master the art of fusing together strips to get different colours, or to include different colours, but that shouldn't be a problem. I made a couple of mistakes. I should have pushed these through a little bit further so that it lined up here. And I meant to clean up. You can see a little bit of dark colour in there. I meant to clean these up before I put the whole thing together, and I forgot to do that. Because if I'd done that, then these would have, I would have probably taken a Dremel or something like that and cleaned those bits off. By the way, that is from the formers. I didn't put any more boron nitride on the former, and I should have, because I thought it'd be okay, but obviously it wasn't. And that's just from the stainless steel. But I should have cleaned those up, then put this together, and then in the contour it would have repolished all those. But other than that, I think it's turned out all right. That has worked out well, apart from my mistakes, and it's shown that we can create patterns in a glass weaving item, but we do of course have to join different pieces of glass together. Whether you do that like I was doing it, where I took a wide strip, fused them all together, or tried to fuse them all together and then cut it, or whether you can come up with the method of joining strips piece by piece. I've got an idea I'm going to try. I'm not too sure where it's going to work, but I've got an idea I'm going to try, and we'll find out. But you can do it. You can make a pattern in a glass woven piece if you basically work out your design and decide which pieces have to be which colour, and then line up all the strips accordingly to get the pattern. I made a couple of mistakes with that, as I said, but it's only really more a test piece than anything else. And if you can see this on my cutting bench here, this is that failed drop mould piece that I was trying to make, where I think had it too close to the elements. I've just got that here. I think I'm going to break this up and refuse it and give that another go. Probably not in the next video, but not too far down the track, I hope. Anyway, if that was of some help, that's great. If you got any questions, ask me in the comments. Happy to answer if I can. So for now, that's it. You take care. And don't forget, up here is some member-only videos. I'll give you an idea what's on offer there. Down here, a suggested video for you. And until the next one, I'll say bye for now.